We'll be discussing North East football and the fortunes over the weekend. It wasn't a great weekend for North East clubs. We will go live here now. A bit repetitive, but there you go. So we'll start again. Well, thanks for joining me on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Obviously, Facebook and YouTube discussing North East football over the weekend. Wasn't a great weekend for our clubs. On Saturday, Sunderland lost 2-1 away at Coventry. Middlesbrough lost 2-0 away at West Bromwich Albion. Hartlepool drew 3-3 at home to Walsall. Darlington drew 0-0 with Kidderminster. And yesterday, Newcastle United's Cup famine, and it is a famine, long time since they won a domestic trophy, continued after a 2-0 defeat against Man United League Cup final. Thanks as always to the sponsors, Galaxy Blinds, RWT, that's Richard Wills Trading Associates, Advanced Utility Solutions, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Cornerstone, Burrship Museum and TGM Cars. If you do watch us on a Monday and you think, well, what happened to 10 o'clock? I'm just fed up with people saying, Bernie, I've got work in the morning. You know, it's too late for me and, you know, I'm knackered. I get it. So I've decided to make it 7 on a Monday because I don't want to be, maybe I kind of a lion, but some people can't totally understand that. I get it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Looking at the games, well, obviously I watched Middlesbrough, so Middlesbrough game on Saturday. We've been terrific since Carrick's come in. We've played exciting football. We're the second top scorers in the division. Akpom's the best scorer in the division. And we're sitting pretty third in the league. So it's been a great turnaround since Carrick came in. But Saturday, West Brom smothered us. They had obviously did their homework. They stopped us playing. The 2 goals we conceded was schoolboy stuff. I can't sit in here and defend it. Even the blinkered, sycophantic guys out there, Borough fans, can't defend the indefensible. The goals we conceded were poor. The first one was played behind Smith and big Paddy. I forgot Paddy, it's taken off, but Paddy played in between them. Ball was square goal. Next one was played through the middle and through the 2 centre backs. The ball came out, it was Lenihan and Giles. And when the lads hit it, the keeper's parried it. For me, the keeper has to do better. He doesn't, straight back into the path of Big Deaky, and he put it in. That was 2 goals in the game. But it was a bad day all round because the 7 teams in the round us, well, they all won. We were the only team that could beat, the rest of them won. So puts a wee bit of pressure on. But hey, pressure's a good thing as well. Gets the adrenaline going. As I say, we've been terrific. We've been entertaining. We played free-flowing football. There's only 2 games that stick out, with Sunderland was poor, and Saturday beat it. That was our worst game since Carrick came in. Are we good enough to turn it around and get back in the track on Saturday against Reading? Without a doubt. Tony Mowbray, he obviously Sunderland boss, played Coventry away. Coventry for me is one of the better footballing teams in the division. Sunderland are now 9th in the championship. They're 4 points behind Luton. I think we got a game in hand. Mugger was raving about their centre forward. Can't pronounce his name, not very good at pronunciations. He says he was the equivalent of Haaland. The championship was equivalent to Haaland. What a glowing tribute that is. He scored one and made one seemingly. Hartlepool, they remain 3rd bottom. The Keith Curl obviously gets sacked. New managers come in, John Askey. And that's Raz Singh's, I think it's in 2016? No, 2018 I think Raz came in. That's 8 managers. Incredible. That's a lot of managers in a short period. Darlington, they're now 6 points. Over the season, I think they've been top 3 for the majority. They're now 6 points behind Kings Lynn. Is it Feldy? Is that how you pronounce their name? And Newcastle United, well, last domestic trophy. And I'm not rubbing it in Newcastle fans. I'm trying to encourage Newcastle fans to come on as well as Sunderland on a Monday night. During the week, after Borough games, I talk just Borough. But Newcastle, 1955 was the last domestic trophy, long time. I'll be honest, when I heard that Pope was going to be missing after his outrageous attempt to come out, I think it was Mo Salah trying to anyway get sent off, and the rest history. He missed the final. They put a novice in who was always going to be difficult for him, not played the game for Newcastle, and ended up to get beat. So wasn't too surprised at that, but Karius, you know, a novice goalkeeper, not a novice, came for, was it Man United game from, but not played a game, and to get thrown in to the Lions Den at Wembley against Man United, who are flying under Ten Hag, and Rashford was banging them in for fun. I mean, Rashford's goal, some people say that one his goal, it was his goal. He had the shot, took a deflection, his goal. I'm going to read. I'll read these first, and then I'll come back. There's still loads of stuff on here. I'll go backtrack because sometimes people are critical of me saying you don't read them out. Brian, the Borough fan, says, Bernie, what does the coaching staff see in Stefan that we don't? Well, I don't know. Maybe they see a contract that says he can't be dropped, no matter how many errors he makes. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. They must see the same game as us. They're not going to say it publicly, but they must see in the last 4 games he's had four boobs, as I call them, and 3 we've got off the hook because the strikers have been firing all cylinders and banging in the goals. But in Saturday we didn't get away with it, and that's going to happen. In the key games that will happen. There'll be no point in return. We can't afford clangers on a weekly basis. Norm's Newcastle says, after a cup defeat, we need to concentrate on finishing in a European spot. That's for Norm. I mean, I agree, Norm. Newcastle, the 5th at the minute. They're 4 points behind Spurs, 2 games in hand. They're 8 points behind 3rd place Man United, with a game in hand. So it's still a big possibility, and all the focus can now be on that. Lemmy Newcastle says, if Pope was in goal, we wouldn't have lost yesterday. Well, it's hypothetical. We don't know that, but I think he would have stood a better chance because, what was it, 10 clean sheets, something like that he had. It was a moment of madness, stupidity. Came racing at his goal and get done for it. And I still think he should have been allowed to play the cup game. I think it should have been the league game was banned. But anyway, German Sunderland fan says, Tony Mowbray's sterling brand of football, Bernie, has been good, in fact, very good. But a lack of firepower will be costly. Obviously, well, Ellis went back, we know, to Everton like a month or 2 ago, and Big Stuart's out for the season, so you're going to struggle. Bob the Borough said, would you change the team for Reading and Saturday? I've read them, I'll read the rest later. Would I change the team? Definitely not. I think Fry will miss it because it's a head injury. He got a bash in the nose. I think Fry will come in, that'll be the only change. I don't see any changes, any need to change it. It was a poor performance. Defensively, we were poor. Going forward, we were toothless. Midfield, we got overrun, chasing shadows. But hey, that and Sunderland game, 2 bad performances out, 14, 15, 16 games. It's not bad going, is it? Where are we here? Mohammed says, yes, Bernie, you okay? Yeah, I'm Mohammed. We can't afford any more slip-ups, Fry. Much can bite into the team. Carrick needs to take some blame. Look, Carrick, when he played Paddy the other week, I was thinking, well, when he played Friday, I was thinking, well, why is Paddy no? And then when Paddy was in, I'm thinking, well, Fry. So he's a bit of conundrum at the minute. He's undecided. I'll have to get back to these. I apologise, YouTubers. Where are we? Evening, Bernie. Automatic promotion of playoffs, you think, for the Borough? Alan Hopper. Alan, I've not believed that we will be automatic. And that was before we beat Sheffield and then we get done on Saturday. I think top 6. Good evening, Bernie. It's for Jeffrey. Good evening, Jeffrey. And Stephen Horn says, hi, Bernie. Hope you're well, mate. The weekend was a minor discretion. They'll just dust themselves down and start again on Saturday. Still not, this is Jeff, still not got over the disappointment over the weekend for all the 3 North East teams. And do you think Carrick is showing his weakness by playing more or less the same team, same setup, regardless of the opposition? No, Jeffrey, I think that we were doing ever so well. And then the other week against QPR when he made 3 changes, that was the first time he made a lot of changes, a lot of 3. 1 change is okay. When it was 3, and on that game we were dysfunctional. We didn't function right. We were out of sync. In the second half we changed it, brought the key players on. So I'm all for a winning team, winning mentality, scoring goals and playing well, good in the eye, keep the same team. I don't see any reason for changing it. I don't buy into this tired and fatigued. What, with the best training facilities, the best dietitians, the best sports scientists, and we're doing well, there's no need to change. There really isn't, unless there's a bad injury, like Big Paddy when he got a bash in the nose. Hi, Bernie, mate. Good result yesterday in the Carabao Cup final. Carl Hatley. So Carl Hatley's having to go to the Geordies. Geordie fans, come on. I'd love a Geordie fan to come on and tell us what you really think of the Cup famine. You know, it's been a long, long time. What did I say, 55? 1955, domestic trophy. It'd be a long time in coming. I mean, a lot of people criticised us when we won the Carling Cup in 2004 in Cardiff against Bolton Wanderers. Big Sam Allardyce, his team at the time. That was our first trophy in the history. I get it. People are giving the stick, saying it's a tin pot Mickey Mouse Cup. Well, the way Man United celebrated it is as if they won the European Cup, and they're Man United. So until you've actually won it, then we can start talking about it. I'll come back to them. A few more. Hartlepool Harry, is that a kid on them? Hartlepool Harry says, my club Hartlepool change managers more than I change my undies. Dear God. So Hartlepool Harry says, my club Hartlepool change managers more than I change my undies. Well, I hope you change your undies more than 8 times in 5 years, Harry. Dear God. Gordon, the Newcastle fan, says, our centre forward didn't perform yesterday. He was way off the game. I think you're referring to Callum Wilson. I mean, Callum Wilson has missed a fair few games. He's not played as many games as Amaron. Amaron's, I think, top scorer with 10 or 11. Callum Wilson's got 7. He didn't have the best of games yesterday. He looked out of sorts. It happens. So, and Jeff Sonnenfeld says, Diallo scored Saturday for us against Coventry, but who else will score? Well, I think that's a bit of a problem for you. And, you know, Jack Clark's got 7 goals. He's more a midfielder, isn't he? But I agree, no prolific striker. We know that Ellis went back to Everton. That's one of the problems when they're loaned. They can call them back anytime. And then obviously Big Stuart got injured. So, and he's out for the season. So for me, I'd love Sunderland to be in the top 6. I sincerely mean that. I've got Sunderland mates. But I don't think, and Tony Mowbray, I met him last week. Me and him a big parley had a coffee together. Private conversation. But I honestly don't think that Sunderland will finish top 6 because of the lack of firepower. Hartlepool, Frank says, our club Frank, who's a Hartlepool fan. Our club lacks leadership and continuity. A big centre forward is a dummy, and he's a top scorer. Are you talking about big Joshua Mary? Is it? I think he's got 11. I heard he's cumbersome, no elegant, not stylish, just a big handful, big aggressive centre forward. But hey, 11 goals, you can't knock that, surely. I can't give my honest assessment on him because I have not watched him, so I ain't going to sit here and criticise a lad I've not even watched. Ian Plumpton, let's see. They didn't play too bad, to be fair, but couldn't do nothing in front of goal for Carl. Ian Plumpton, come back to that one. Ian Plumpton says, we have come a long way since Carrick arrived. I will be quite happy if we have to settle for the playoffs. Ian, my guys, we're going to finish the playoffs. I was never kidded when we beat Sheffield that it was just going to be a formality. Some people, some Borough fans were saying we're going to win every game for the end of the season. It was a possibility, but I think that's us just been... it's just a wee rocket up the jacks just to make us aware that it ain't as easy as just turning up and winning games. You have downsides. As I say, since Michael Carrick's come in, we've been fantastic. The entertainment value has been good football, creating goals, scoring goals. We're the second top scorers in the league, as I mentioned earlier, which is no mean feat. We've got the top scorer in Chuba Akpom. So there's been a lot of pluses. The defence, the goalkeeper, back four, for me is still an issue, a big issue. And I keep going on about it because I don't put it under the carpet when we're winning. I pick up on it when we're winning. So rather than when we're winning, say, oh, you just forget about it and say, oh, it didn't happen. I'm a realist, not a fantasist. I'm forever saying that. And I always pick up on the goals we've conceded. Some of them have been awful. Awful. Queen's Park Rangers free kick, awful. Saturday, first goal, awful. The one through the middle and the keeper should have a stronger hand, awful. The goal, Sheffield United in the midweek, awful. So not good. The goal done at Cardiff, first one we conceded, awful. We get away with awful ones because we're scoring goals and we're winning. But there's going to be games where we're going to come unstuck. Like Saturday, we couldn't score a goal. We didn't create enough for the front two. They were starved to a degree. And 2 defensive errors cost us. You know, if we give the first goal away, fair enough for starting the game. But once you give the second away, you get mountain to climb. I'll go back here to the YouTube. Those that say it's Mickey Mouse Cup, it's only because they ain't won it. They'd cheer their team on if they had a chance to win it. Without a doubt, I totally agree with that. You think, yeah, talking about cups, I mean, when Jose Mourinho, who's now, he's still at Roma, isn't he? He's not throwing any tantrums. Jose Mourinho, when he was at Man U, he won the Europa, UEFA Cup, whatever you want to call it. And then when he won the League Cup, he went as if he won the European Cup, because it's another trophy in his it's another trophy for him. You know what I mean? So I think, and Man United celebrated. Why shouldn't it? It's another cup. It's another trophy in the cabinet. It's on the CV. And that's what Mourinho's saying. I don't know how many he's got, but he's got a good CV, hasn't he? Hi, Bernie. Yeah, I mentioned that. Sorry. Evening, Bernie. Jezza, how are you, son? Jezza, Gerald Barris. Met Gerald many a time. Used to listen to the Three Legends football phoning. Met me, Malcolm and Eric many a time. And he's a big Newcastle fan. Jezza, wipe the tears, son. I've not heard from Martin McDonald. I texted him yesterday. All the best, Martin. I didn't say hope Newcastle. I just put all the best, Martin, with Newcastle. No doubt Martin was there. He does the lounges like I do at the Riverside. He does them at Newcastle. And no doubt Malcolm, who's played at Wembley many a time for Newcastle and for England, no doubt he was there yesterday. The Geordies will be hiding or recovering from the hangovers they've got today. Well, you could be right, Cal. Jason Fawcett says, Bernie, you know my view. Stefan needs splinters and the bench. What a weekend. I'm deep in enemy territory in Northumberland. Oh dear me, you better move there, Jason. Glad they didn't lift the World Cup yesterday, but their fans did well. I give them that. No, I have to say, I watched the Old Firm game, Celtic Rangers. Happy at that. Boyhood heroes of Celtic. Switched it over. Watched the Man United game. Yeah, hey, look, I felt for Newcastle fans. I did. I know that's the enemy or the neighbours or whatever you want to call them, but yeah, I'm glad they never. I'd have had to move back to Glasgow. Martin would have been on that phone every day. They Geordies would have been rubbing it in. Yeah, I'm glad they never won. Do you think Chuba is good enough for the Premier? Jack, okay. Jack, I was asked, I think, was it today podcast? I was asked, I read a few out because I hadn't read them out after the game Saturday. He must be given a chance. If he's still here, he must be given a chance for sure, for definite. Hey, look, first couple of years, there's no way on this planet I'd have said Premier. I would have been doubting him for the Championship. This year, he has been fantastic. Not just his goals. His goals have been great. Some wonder goals. But his overall play, holding up, backing in, support, the way he moves the ball, his reading of the game, his timing, arriving in the box late, getting away from the centre-backs, dropping deep. He's a clever player, and he's really flourished under Carrick's tactics. As I say, if Carrick doesn't come in and he's still left with Wilder or Warnock was there or whoever, he doesn't flourish the way he's did. So he has to get a goal. I would say McGree's the other one, a definite twosome, and Dale Fry. They're the three I would think. But as I say the other day, I was asked a similar question. You don't know. When you get in the top flight, you don't know. We can sit here all day, despite watching every Borough game over the years and say, oh, these guys, you can say, oh, he'll make it and he'll definitely and he won't. Doesn't happen like that. As I mentioned, I remember going into the equivalent of the Premier, the old First Division, and there was a few people writing myself off. That was their opinion. I read it, didn't like it. I thought if I get the chances, I'll score goals. I did get chances, I did score goals. I was fortunate. But a few of the lads who were supposedly going to make it didn't make it that season. Struggled. And we were relegated. Defensively, we were flawed. The lads who were flawed obviously went on to make it in the Premier League. Those that say it's Mickey Mouse, yeah, I've read that, sorry. I think Chuba will adapt in the Premier. But Stephen, why not? Why not? He's shown his qualities, but it is a transition. I'll tell you the guy that when I went into the top flight, there was one player that said to me, you'll enjoy it in the Premier League. It was Gary McAllister. Not Gary Pallister, Gary McAllister. Gary McAllister, I knew from Glasgow, we used to go to the same nightclubs. He was at Dumbarton, I was at Albion Rovers. He progressed, came down to England. Was it Leicester? Anyway, he went on to Liverpool fame. Great lad, great player. And he played against his Leicester. In the last game at Ayresome Park, we had to want to get promotion. Anyway, him and Peter Weir scored last game of the season. We thought it was a formality. Get promotion into top flight, have to win the last game. Other results go away. And Gary McAllister and Peter Weir, two Scotland internationals, scored. I remember meeting Gary in the players' lounge afterwards. And obviously, as I say, I knew him from my Glasgow days, 18, 19. We had a chat and he said, Bernie, I hope you make the playoffs. You'll love it in there. They'll let you play football. And he was right in his assumption. When I got in the Premier League, I enjoyed it. You know, the lower you go down, there's more hatchet men, guys that just want to kick their granny, hoof you up in the air, no bother about kicking the ball. So I did enjoy it. So Chuba is a footballer. I think Chuba would enjoy the top flight as well. Don't get me wrong, once you get into the opponent's last third, the better defenders in the top flight, the faster, the sharper up here. But yeah, spot on, Bernie. Can't even remember what it says. Not crying, Bernie, at least I tried. Ah, Jezzer, I'm only joking. No, look, Kay. You've been waiting since 55. I'm sure you can wait another 55 years. No, it was interesting. Serious note about Newcastle. The chief executive's a lady. It's called Amanda something. As I say, no good at pronunciations. And I heard her on one of the national radios today, and she praised the fans, and rightly so. The fans were terrific and loud, and as always, I mean, they turned up in their droves. And she says, we're disappointed for the fans, but a few years we will win and be chasing the Premiership, the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League. That's what she said. Obviously, she's aware of the money behind Newcastle United, and I think there's no doubt. I think we all think that. Money talks, money brings in the best players, the best talent, the best managers, and Newcastle, they've ignited it, and now they're going to be, down the line, they're going to be that. You know, it's like me, if I buy a Ferrari and you buy a Mini and we're going to drive up the A19, we're going to have a race, I'm going to win the majority of times, 99 out of 100. And managers over the years have had unbelievable praise, and I get that. But they've always had the big... Has Mourinho ever won trophies without any money? I don't know if he has. Has Pep? Fergie? They've all had big money at their disposal. Even when Leicester won it, I think they had a few quid. Blackburn Rovers, they had a lot of money at the time. I'm sure they did. Spent a boatload of money. It's not guaranteed, but it makes it a lot easier. You obviously, the manager has to be the right man. If you want to talk money and failure, look at the lad at Chelsea. Dear God, they couldn't. Doesn't matter how much. I think he spent 300 million in the January transfer window. They get done again Saturday. Was it Sunday? 2-0 with Tottenham. They couldn't buy a win at the minute. Do you think Steve Gibson will have to add investors if we go up? I don't think so, Borough fan. I don't think so. Steve Gibson, we know he's not a millionaire. He's a millionaire. He's not a billionaire. He's not a trillionaire. Steve will know he's got capabilities within his capabilities. He knows what he's dealing with and what he's got at his disposal financially. But some of these guys from Saudi and overseas they make money in the back room, don't they? Nothing to them. I think Steve Gibson, it's his club. It's always been his club. He's worked the ladder, got to where he is because he's been supportive. He's been financially supportive. He's been there for us. He's a local lad. He's one of the few chairmen in probably the world that actually support the team that he's the chairman of. And that's a gift in itself, isn't it? Instead of these overseas guys who don't give a damn about football. Look at the Glazers at Man U. Same way that Glazer was at Wembley yesterday, smiling like a Cheshire cat. Yeah, because he's probably getting loads of money on the back of the win. Problem is we need players of better quality to keep us up, probably. No, probably, we will. There ain't no way. Under Aitor Karanka, and I watched every game, like I have for years, Aitor Karanka's team went up. A lot of people were saying they were predicting 7 or 8 would shine, and they didn't. There was only 3 for me. Was the goalkeeper for Real Madrid, Negredo, and Ben Gibson in the Premier. The rest failed and faltered. I think it's harder to get out of the Championship than it is staying in the Premiership. It's a hard league to get out of. Well, Stephen, I had several years with Middlesbrough, and I know what it's all about. I've had promotions in it. I've had relegation. Relegated my first season. Hopefully we win the playoff final. This is for Mongo. Hopefully we win the playoff final. I've hated Wembley since our first final in the ZDS or Zenith Cup. I played in that. Sorry about that. What are your memories of Wembley in 1990? And say hi to Gillian, a big Borough, a Burnley the Bolt fan. Hiya Gillian, good evening, Mongo. My memories, if you're not aware, the younger viewers, I was part of the team that went to Wembley in Middlesbrough's history. First time in Middlesbrough's history. It's called the Zenith Data Systems. I know you're saying, what the F is that? But it was a cup and it attracted a full house at Wembley. The opponents were Chelsea. We beat We were in the Coventry Championship in the Premier, equivalent of the Premier. Aston Villa were there. Graham Taylor was the manager. They were favourites. We went down there. I think we beat them 2-1 on the night. And we came back here and we'd done them here. Then we went to Wembley, and I think the whole of Middlesbrough went to Wembley that day. It passed us by, if I'm honest. Passed us by. We could beat 1-0. Tony DeRigo, Australian, who played for England. Fullback, scored for a free kick. And that's all I remember. I've got a loser's medal to show for my efforts, but I think it passed us by. But there was a lot of problems before that final. No excuses. Bruce Rioch had been sacked, astonishingly. I was there, Stephen says. He was sacked. Colin Todd, who was the coach for many years, had to take over. He was supposedly going to take us out the tunnel at Wembley. He in return handed it to the injured Tony Mowbray, who was captain. So Mugger led us out. Toddy took a back seat. Bruce had been sacked. So, yeah, we were out of sync, and we didn't really... I mean, some people say I missed a sitter. I would hold my hands up all these years later and say it was... No, I didn't miss a sitter. It was a great block. I ended up playing... I can't remember the lad's name. He's a central midfielder. The ball had come over. I was just about to hit it inside the 6-yard box where I was predator in that box, and he just got a toe or a boot in front of it and it deflected for a corner. Ali used to, God rest him, Ali Brown used to say, Bernard, you missed a sitter at Wembley. Never let me forget that, but he was joking. Martin will be sat in his seat at Wembley in total shock alongside Shearer. Ha, probably is, Cal. No, I think Martin will still be Wembley, reminiscing of the good old days when he scored 5 against Cyprus, which is still a record. Can you believe it? You talk about records getting broken. You know, people saying to me, oh, Tuber's going to break you, or Rico, or break, I'm sure he'll break the 20 league goals that you got back in 89. And then you see Harry Kane doing it down at Tottenham. The late great Jimmy Greaves. But Martin will be sitting there thinking, and I can't believe that likes of Harry Kane has not beat Malcolm's record of 5 goals for England, considering some of the rubbish England he's played over the year and how good Harry Kane is. I think he got 4 in one game, 4 in one game, but not 5. So Malcolm will be sitting there reminiscing when he was in the cup final and get beat. I think he was injured that day. I think he played Liverpool. Check that out, Newcastle fans, if you're watching. Yeah. Andrew Hill says, so glad Newcastle got beat to Man United yesterday, although they played very well second half. I reckon Borough need to win this Saturday against Reading, and I hope Akpom scores on Saturday. Andrew Hill. If he scores on Saturday, we will win. But the thing is, we cannot afford calamities, errors at the back. You know, strikers are going to hit patches where they don't score or they're misfiring. I mean, we've got enough to score goals now. Archer's lightning. Archer's got, what, 3 or 4 at the minute. Akpom's got 19 in the league, 20 in total, 1 in the cup. We didn't get a kick Saturday, but that wasn't down to them two. That was down to the support. There was no support, very little quality if you either flank. The quicker Akpom gets it off his shoulders, because he knows everybody's talking about it, he's probably fed up getting asked about it. I'm getting fed up told that Akpom's going to overtake me. And I've said before, good luck to Chuba Akpom. I messaged him a while ago. I'll be first to go and congratulate him. I've chatted to 1 or 2 people. Hopefully I'll go and chat to him, give him a bottle of champagne, congratulate him, give him a kiss and a cuddle and all that, and say well done. And I mean it. Hey, if I was losing 100 grand, I'd be gutted, but I'm not a gambling man. I'm not losing it. What am I losing? I've had it since 89. Come on. Long overdue. Some of the money and garbage we've spent money on over the years. I've named them. I'm not going through them again. It's born repetitive. You know who they are. And you young kids out there, young Borough fans who come out with nonsense on the social network and all that, do your homework before you open your big mouth. Do your homework on the history of your club. Learn your history. You know, people saying things about me, derogatory things about me. That's fine. Get on with it. Cool. I'd like to come on here and say it, and then I'll say to your face, I can't see you, but you can see me, and I'll say what I think. I'll never ever respond to people that are abusive or key stick on the social network, because they're hiding, aren't they? They're faceless people. I used to love it when Malcolm McDonald came to Aston Park. He didn't have to get some stick with his bowed legs. Yeah, he has. Malcolm, you could get a few pigs through Malcolm's legs. He is. I heard, by the way, I've seen clips of Malcolm. I heard there was some player. Don't forget, I worked with Malcolm on the 3 Legends show that was broadcast, biggest show in Britain at the time. For 6, 8 o'clock every night. There was me, him and Eric Gates started it. And yeah, Malcolm, I got to know about how good he was, and put it this way, he was as good as Shearer, if not better. That's how good he was. And he was faster. He was like a greyhound. I've seen clips of him. Try and get clips of him on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of clips, which is really, really sad. But he was some player, scored some wonder goals. So got Newcastle beat yesterday, although they played very well. I reckon, but yeah. So it's a Saturday. Look, I'm sure we'll get back on track Saturday. We can't get out with the swagger. Well, that's a wake-up call on Saturday. That lets us know. Don't take him for granted. I honestly thought we'd have got there and not got beat. I didn't think we could beat Saturday. Cal says, Akpom's overall plays classmate, and he's got all you want in a player. I've said that, Cal. I've been really giving Akpom a lot of praise, and he justifies it because he's been terrific. You know, I've had somebody the other day shouting, Bernie, you say 2 years ago Akpom was poor. He was poor. He was poor. He was in and out of the team, then he was injured, then he was lost of form, then he ended up in Greece. If you're that good, you don't go to Greece, you stay put. He came back, different animal, different coach under Carrick, different style and brand of football. There's loads of reasons as to why Akpom's flourished, but he has been tremendous. He's been tremendous. And he's player of the season. I know you don't give the player of the season this early. He's Middlesbrough's player of the season by a country mile. Been terrific. Bernie, what's Tuba worth? 10 million, I think, if we go up. Jason Fawcett, so you put a price on his head, more or less saying he's going to go. Jason, he came for just under 3 million, and he must be worth 12 million. What do you think Borough giving Smith a new 2-year contract, yet nothing for Johnny Howson? Well, Smith has been, I have to say, Smith came in and there was a few, more than a few, me included, thinking Smith's did fantastically well. He's come in and just, him and Linehan deserve the plaudits as well. They come in with a wee bit of rocky time before Carrick came in. Everybody was thinking, what are these about? Good go, Bernie. Got to go, Bernie. Daughter just turned up. Bloody kids. All the best, Stephen. Thanks for joining us for a short period. I've changed the times as well. As I say, I'm on at this time because 10 o'clock, people will be moaning, groaning and texting me and getting messages saying, Bernie, I've got work in the morning. It's all right for you, and I get that. So I reckon Tuba must be worth at least 12 million. The form he's been in, maybe even more. He's 27, 28, he's at his peak. You know, people outside might say, well, this is the first season he's really hit the goal trail consistently. He has to do it, once he gets over the season, top scorer, he has to do it again and again, no matter where he goes, whether it's at Middlesbrough. And the low averages, if he bangs them in next year, whatever league Middlesbrough's in, then there'll be big clubs bigger than us, unfortunately. Will be want his signature. But we're in the driving seat because I think he's got another year contract. So we can make a few quid off him. Leslie, Kane would score 5 if we're playing Celtic or Rangers every week. You're joking, Leslie. Leslie, Harry Kane would faint playing in front of Celtic and Rangers fans. The atmosphere was immense. I laugh at you, Celtic and Rangers. Kane would score 5. I think if you look down the years, Celtic and Rangers have played the biggest clubs in England, and I don't think any of them scored 5. Check it out, Leslie. Do your homework before you come on. Keep them coming. I'll come to these as well. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is the thing. It was Amanda Staveley. She's the chief executive of Newcastle United. And she more or less was quoted saying the fans were magnificent and more only a matter of time before we won domestic cups, Premier League, Champions League. That's quite a statement, isn't it? But she's obviously, she knows the money that they've got at their disposal. So, yeah. Bernard, we will see what happens Saturday. If we win, we're back on track because Reading are doing okay. Anthony Copley. Anthony, come on, the mid-table. They're about 14 points behind us, aren't they? So, I expect us to turn it on again. We've been great at home. I mean, Queen's Park Rangers first half, I think it's because we made 3 changes. I think that had an effect, not a good effect. And we huffed and puffed, and then the second half we got it right. I'm sure from the off the lads will come out the blocks and go for the jugular. That's what we're about now. We're not about... I have to say, Saturday as well, Middlesbrough, a lot of square and back passes. Slow, laboured passing, deliberate passing. Didn't really try and hurt them. With one shot first half, Foz caused them problems. I think late on, Jones had a chance in about 94 minutes, should have scored, wouldn't have made any difference. Don't want to be a consolation. We will be back to them on Saturday. 3 points, I believe. A lot of matches to go. Keep the faith, because I think this is Colin Ibbotson. I think second place will go down to the wire. Well, that's what their manager says, Colin. Is it a bit of cadology? Possibly. But they're back to where they've been. 7 points ahead of us and a game in hand. Switch it, Colin. You're a Middlesbrough fan. We're second in the league at the minute. We've got a 7-point cushion and a game in hand. Do you think Sheffield would overtake us? I don't think any Borough fan would go against us if we were in that position. So, we beat them well and truly. 75 minutes we hammered them and thoroughly deserved the victory. But it just so happens that they won Saturday, we get done, and as I say, they're 7 points ahead again. Mark my words, the gap will be fought again come Saturday. Leslie, maybe you're a clairvoyant, maybe you've got a crystal ball sitting in a caravan with a teeter over your head, reading palms and all that. Don't know. Flint the Borough fan says, have you written off top 2 finish? But I've just been talking about that. Well, I've not written it off, but I've always believed top 6. As I say, the Sheffield United game was a massive boost. And we thought, hey, this is a reality check for them. 4 points if we get done this Saturday. And unfortunately, the one Saturday we get done. So, Claire says, don't forget to get in your daily exercise, Bernie. Have you got yours in today, for Claire? Well, I have actually. Do you know what? I was out there for, I think I did 12.5 kilometres, something like that, whatever that is, mileage. And I've only been in about 25 minutes. Quick shower, quick wash and come in here. I'm not even my dinner, starving. So, yeah, I have had the daily exercise. And if you're fit enough, some people's not fit enough, totally get that, and I sympathise greatly. But if you're fit enough, yeah, get up off your ass and go a wee walk or a jog or whatever. Go to walk to the shop instead of taking the car. Exercise is good for the mindset, good for the body, good for everything. I keep telling my fat mates that, but they don't listen. Dominic says, if Middlesbrough get promoted, Borough fan, if Middlesbrough get promoted, why don't they go for Jota of Celtic? Jota of Celtic? Would Jota come to Middlesbrough? Maybe forget the Premier. Jota, I think he was a bit of sorts yesterday, but Jota's a very good player, skillful, direct, he's entertaining, he's a creator, scores goals, makes goals. But he's good in the eye, he's good to watch. He would suit the Carrick style because he's a footballer. So, yeah, who knows? Hope he's better than that other lot we brought, Dom. I hope he's better than that other lot we brought for Scotland. Remember Strachan brought half of Scotland in? There was only Barry Robson succeeded at about 9 of them. Newcastle United, Norrie from Newcastle says, does anyone want to buy a trophy cabinet? No need for it at the minute. I know, and it's good that you've got that humour, Norrie. I know Geordie's have got a bit of humour. I like Geordie's. Don't like your team, but I like yours. I think I would say hang fire, hold your trophy cabinet, because you know, I know, and your chief exec knows more than we do, that next 5 years you're going to have a few trophies. You'll be employing somebody to shine them. And Ted, the Borough fan, says, any idea where Leo Perkovic has disappeared to? I don't know, to be honest. He's going off the radar. I don't think I've even seen him at the games, so I don't know, to be honest. Colin Airy says, if Jed Spence went for a reported 20 million and hasn't played a game for Spurs, how do you work out the value of a player? Well, there's no common sense to values. What I will say about Jed Spence is the manager at Tottenham didn't want him. He made that quite clear. And now he's been shipped out on loan. So Conte went right to saying, don't know anything about him. And he's now moved on. That's why the buying of players or bringing players in should be down to the manager stroke coach. Because the manager stroke coach still picks the players, whereas other guys bring them in. And he brought Jed Spence in and Conte went, don't need him, don't want him. And he shipped him out. The manager always won in the end. I go for a walk every night in somewhere. Always past Jeff the ref's house. I bet you do. I would tell Jeff to board the windows up. You're a burglar, Leslie, I've heard. You wear one of the black masks, don't you? Cal Macker, my old mate. Cal is a Sunderland fan, massive Sunderland fan. Travelled all over the country. Used to join us on the Three Legends. Used to come to the live shows we did. Great lad. And Cal won't mind me saying he's blind. Still goes to every game. Listens to everything. Very assertive. Very knowledgeable. And Cal, can you text us a story of the time about the dog? The away game. You didn't have... It wasn't your dog, but you sort of get in on the back of it. Can you text me that message and I'll read it out? Because I thought that was really funny. Jason, and I hope you will, Maka. Jason Fossey says, Blades won't blow it. I honestly thought we'd go unbeaten all season. I thought we'd catch them. I don't know. But if you said it, Borough fans, before the World Cup, we'd have danced in the streets, just like the Newcastle fans in the Wembley final. What a season. Well done, Jason. It has been a great season. Anthony says, it could turn all round again in the beauty of this league, and you never know, but I say top 6 Bernard, finish 3rd and we will be there up the Borough. Look, if we were, my gut instinct, and I don't say it for attention, I'm honest, I've said last year we wouldn't make it and we didn't because of the keeper. We will make top 6 season, but my fear is in the playoffs that we have a clanger in us. In the defence and the goalkeeper, and I think that's still a problem, and that's my one concern when it comes to the key games. Don't forget, we've still got Burnley to come here, and we've still got Norwich, and they're half decent. Well, Burnley's, dear God, they're flying, and they're more or less in the Premier League, and we have to be at our best and try and pick up as many points as we can and put in 5-star displays. These are all, I know it's a cliche, but it's true saying, they're all cup finals now. What's there, 12 games left now? All cup finals. Did you see that Shearer joke pic I sent you dressed as Shearer? No, I never. I'll have a look for it, Leslie. Right, where was I here? I'll read these out. It was true PR. This is for Cal Mack. I hope he said it. So a Sunderland fan had his dog in the ground and managed to get it into the ground because he said it was a guide dog. I'm also a Hibernian fan as well. Stefan's a liability. Sorry to see Andrew Priest. I'll mention that in a minute. So Cal Macker, as I mentioned, Cal's blind, and he's a big Sunderland and Hibernian fan. I did miss out Hibernian. Sorry, Macca. Hold up my hands. Massive Sunderland fan. Goes to Hibernian games. Sunderland fans alternates. Goes everywhere. Did it for years. So he went to the QPR, and there was a Sunderland fan. He had his dog in the ground. He managed to get it in. I think they were ready to throw it out or something. And Macca says, "It's my blind dog," and he got away with it. I remember him telling that story in the Legends, and we were all laughing. I think the guy couldn't get in with the dog. I think that was it. And Cal says, "Look, he's my blind dog," and he got the guy in, he got his dog in, and he got himself in. So good story that, Macca. And I hope you're well, Macca. Where are we here? Does anyone want to? I've read that. Any idea with Leo Perkovic? I think that was the last one I read, wasn't it, Leo? I don't know what Leo Perkovic has went. I'd like to chat to Leo Perkovic for my podcast. Anybody know where he is, or if I can meet up with him? I'd like to chat with him for the podcast and ask him a lot of questions. Questions. It'd be good to talk about Aitor Karanka, the walkouts, and him taking over, and him giving Hackney his debut, and there'd be loads to talk about. I mean, some people forgot about it. I don't think he should be forgotten. Yeah, so anybody know where Leo Perkovic? Let me know, and I'll go track him down. Jeff says, I don't think it's Jeff the ref, my pal. Jeff says, I see Sheffield United manager. Oh, I think I read that, didn't I? Carrick will be on. Oh, Sue says Carrick will be on the radar. Other clubs with the job he's doing. I think there's no doubt in that. If you do well, Chuba will be on the radar of teams. Teams needing a goal scorer lower. Maybe in Premier League teams, I can tell you what, we need him. Johnny says, hobnobbing. I think I read these on the, because I never read them Saturday in the Facebook Live. I think I read them in the podcast. Anyway, hobnobbing again, Bernard, at the Theatre of Dreams in midweek. I got invited, Big Pally, Robbo, and that. They host the lounge. I've been down several times this year. Some people think I'm a closet Man United fan. That's not true. I go because I get asked. I go because the hospitality is great. I don't mean the prawn sandwiches. I don't eat prawns. I just mean the word PR. A lot of clubs fail to have good PR. Man United is blessed with PR, everybody's lovely, caring, thoughtful, considerate, look after you, no matter if you're from Man United or not. It's just a great day, a great night. And the Barcelona game, there was no bigger game. In the second half, Man United really came to life. Franco says, you're forever having a go at Stefan, you're just a pleb and a prat. Thanks for the compliment. That's good, at least you've got the balls to tell me, that's fine. I can't see your face like. Even the Bernie 100% agree with you about Stefan and goal. Cannot rely on him like you could with Percy between the sticks. Percy was one of the greatest. Him and Matt Swartz are two of the best. Randolph is the best keeper we've had in recent years. I've not seen really a good keeper over recent years. They've all been questionable. Mongo said, why would Chuba leave the Holy Land? Akpom has finally found his spiritual home and can become a Borough legend just like Bernie, or become a Peter Davenport and go somewhere else. Oh, hey, Mongo, I'm hoping that he is here next year no matter what division we're in. I'm just saying, the reality is, I mean, we're renowned to be a selling club. We're Middlesbrough, we're a selling club. People do well, we tend to move them on. Stu Downing doing the business, moved on. Adam Johnson, dare I say it, moved on. You know, if you're doing well, you move on. Ben Gibson moved on. It happens. Where are we? I'll come back to you in a minute. That was me getting called a pleb and a prat. I quite like that. I like getting abused. Good, fine. I don't get offended. Fine with that. Cool with that. I like people to tell me my face, like, rather than hide behind wee pictures of somebody else. Anyway, Neil says, who's on your podcast this week? No, the podcast this week was George Hardwick, and it wasn't the late great George Hardwick, Gentleman George, who played for England, Great Britain and Middlesbrough. Gentleman George was called. We will go if Bernie promises to bury his bum. Are you up for it? If we got automatic, I'll go full front on your front window, Mongo. I think I promised that to somebody else, mind. So George Hardwick is MMA fighter. He's #1 champion at the minute in Britain and Ireland. And he's got a fight coming up, I'm sure it's April. I was intrigued by it. By the way, talk about fights, I watched that crap last night. My boys were saying, what are you doing watching that? I said, I'm just going to watch it for the crack. And I watched it. Fury against that YouTuber. I've seen better fights in the streets of Glasgow than I did last night, and they were getting millions of pounds for it. I mean, we want to stop encouraging these celebs to just go in and box and make millions and millions of pounds. It's obscene. It's obscene. If you're a top fighter, you deserve it. But a YouTuber against Fury, garbage. It was poor. I'm glad I missed out on that farce. Yeah, it was a farce. I agree with that. Where are we here? Right. So Yannick says, do you know the boroughs next 3 games? Yeah, I think Yannick would play Reading, Swansea and Stoke. Yeah, Reading, Swansea and Stoke. Yeah, Yannick. I think home, away and home. I think that's the way they are, home, away. So one's at home, one's away, then at home again. Will you do the full front in my window in Ingleway? It's a big window. I've passed it. No big enough, Leslie. No big enough. Needs to be massive. Lenny said, we'll get 10 minutes by the way, I've just been told. Lenny says, Newcastle United, I'm glad they never won the cup. And I hope Borough get promoted. Bernie, John says, Bernie, your claim to fame at the Borough is going to be gone when Akpom scores 20 goals. My claim to fame at Borough, I've not claimed anything at Borough. I was wondering what your thoughts are, what our tactics should be if we meet West Brom in the playoffs. What our tactics should be, we shouldn't change our tactics for anywhere, for anybody. We've proved the way we play in the style we play in the brand against the majority of how good we are. One game doesn't define and say we should have an overhaul and change tactics because they beat us on Saturday. That's the biggest wake-up call we can get. That's the best thing that could happen. I remember playing the playoffs, semi-finals, Bradford. Bradford has beaten 3 times. The only thing we changed was Gary Hamilton marked John Henry and put him out of the game. Henry had been written as a part in previous games. Henry's a great player, but so was Hammy, a different player, but a great player. And Hammy marked him out of the game. So we just have to be better defensively and hopefully they keep us more switched on. So for me, I don't think there's much we have to adjust. That was the biggest learning curve getting done. I'll come back to them because there's a few on here. Let's see. How's your boxing coming on, Bernard? You mastered the right cross yet? The right cross. Don't you think the subs could have been on sooner? Yeah, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Possibly, yeah. Let's see. Boxing coming, Bernard. You mastered the right cross yet? No, Trevor, I've not mastered anything as yet. I turn up, do my boxing training. That's about enough. Big game for Sunderland with a manager who ran off to Stoke. He will get some stick. He will that, you're right. And go back to these. I'm trying to get as much in as possible. Yeah, so your claim to fame. Yeah, the claim to fame. I've never claimed it at Middlesbrough. I let my feet do the talking. And, you know, if you want to just dismiss 147 goals or whatever and 380 games, whatever. If you want to just wipe them out, you can't wipe them out. You might want to, but you can't. You who's put this, John, you'll never see another goal scorer scoring 100 goals for your club, even if you live to 200. Stefan, heavy and slow to react. Now let me put my Stefan thing over to Borough fans. The lad's meant to be a good guy, right? I'm not talking about him as a person. He's a good shot stopper. Somebody pointed that out. I'm aware of that. He can't hit it long. He can't hit it short. He's hesitant. He's slow when he's got the ball in the box. He can't come out and punch it. He's not aggressive in the box. He's not vocally, I don't see him shouting at players and demanding things. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to defend him here. The defenders should stop giving him the ball back. They know that what happens, it's got a ripple effect. When Stefan is cumbersome or gives a bad ball away like he did against Cardiff, and Paddy was a hospital ball and Paddy had to stretch and he's out the game because he's on the floor because of a bad pass and it ends up in the back of the net. It sends ripples through the team. There's a nervousness. They'll not say it publicly. I'll say it for them. They know that he's a problem. He's a problem. 4 games in the bounce. Look at the 4 games. Look at Cardiff. Look at Sheffield United. Look at Queen's Park Rangers. Look at Saturday West Brom. Look at 4. We got away with 3 of them. He's got away with 3 of them because we won. But this is going to happen in one of the key games when there's no room for error and no return. He got away with it because we won 3, so nobody talks about it. I do, because I can see it coming. I hammered Lumley. Hopeless. Lumley. People used to say John or Lumley. Hopeless. No good. And this guy's slightly better. And he's getting away with it because we have been so good up front, because of Akpom, because of Gel's creativity, because Archer's come in and started scoring a few. That's how he's getting away with it. It will cost us points. Saturday. Second goal, if we keep it 1-0, we're still in the game. Don't get me wrong. The back 2 opened up like a tin of beans. A 1-2, went through the 2 defenders. The guy, is it Deke, gets a shot off. But for me, the keeper's hand has to be stronger. He has to parry away rather than straight back to the guy who's the shot. It's poor. Think he's liked in the team. Look, it'd be like because he's probably a good guy, which I've heard he's a good guy. I'm not knocking him as a person, but he's not. For me, he's not good enough. He's if I was playing against him, I'd fancy my chances all day long. And I tell you what they did. They did their homework. And every time we went back to Stefan, they closed us down and harassed us and made him play it long, and then they won the ball back, or he shanked it, or he almost gave it straight back to them. It's a dangerous game. I've seen top teams getting done with this fanning about the back. We're a good team, but we're not a Man City or a Arsenal. We're not up there yet. We know every team's trying to do it, but I just think we're looking for trouble with a goalkeeper like Stefan, because I don't think he's good enough to play the role that we want him to play. Don't forget, when Pep came in, he get rid of your big keeper at Celtic. That was the first thing he get rid of. He went, no, and everybody was going, why are you getting rid of him? He get rid of Joe Hart because Joe Hart wasn't very good on the deck. And Pep addressed that right away. Well, this guy's not good on the deck. Well said, Bernie, and that's the reason why he was dropped from the US national team. I'm not looking for applause. I'm only giving my opinion as a Borough fan. In the key games, playoff games, I believe will be the players. It takes one bad kick out, one lapse of concentration by anybody but the keeper who's consistently doing it now, and that's us miss out in the Premier League. And then he heads off back to Man City or heads off to Timbuktu, and we're left to pick up all the pieces and support the team we love because of the goalkeeper. Anybody can make mistakes. You know, you look at Liverpool, it wasn't a keeper. Steven Gerrard, one of the greatest Liverpool players ever, slipped, gave the ball away, never won the league. That was awful. He's the last guy you'd have said. But you cannot continue. I'll give you 4 examples in 4 games. It's not fantasy. It's not made up. It's there. Go and look at them. Come on and tell me I'm wrong. Gets away with it because we're scoring goals. Saturday, we didn't score. We need to be better. Defenders need to rock up their arse as well after Saturday. Opened up too easy. Over the years, some of your defenders have been covered with 3 centre-backs. And I've always said it's easy. 3 centre-backs against 1 opposing striker or 2 maximum. Easy. Now we've got 4 and sometimes we get fun out. If teams have a go at us. Leslie Coates, Lumley can't play because he's our player out on loan at Reading. Don't allow you to play against your parent club. As I say, Trevor, we'd be out to something Saturday. I would be paying Queen's Park Rangers and say, look, there's an extra few quid going to play Lumley. That will be a battle of the wits, wouldn't it? Well, if we do get in the playoffs, he might only have 46 games. So what do you think? What do you think, man? So if we do get to the playoffs, he might only have 46 games. So what do you think, Bernard? What do you mean, Anthony? Go on, tell us what you mean. Do you mean he's played in all those games? Tell us what you mean, Anthony. Is that what you mean? Well, if we do get to the playoffs, he might only have played 46 games. Yeah, I think that's what you mean. You've been a wee bit sarcastic there, I think, saying that he's only played all those games. Yeah, but we're playing good football. It's more the attackers that's got us out here. Before it's not, we're second top scorers in the division. I says last year, Lumley and the strikers will cost us. It did. I think he needs a 46-game contract. Oh, yeah, right, okay, yeah, maybe. Look, I don't know. People surmise that maybe the goalkeeper's got in his contract to say he plays every game when he declares himself fit. Maybe he has. I don't believe that, but the more I see, I don't see him getting any flack from anybody within or anybody coming out publicly and saying Stefan needs to polish up. So I'll say it, because nobody else seems to say it. I'm the Borough fan. I'll be here when Carrick's gone, when Stefan's gone, when all these guys are, I'll still be here talking about the team I support. They give me my big career in football. Yeah, I'm critical at times, but I also praise. And when I praise, I mean it. I'm not here to tick any boxes. I don't give a shit about. I know everybody's ticking boxes. They can't say this or they want him in because of that or her in because of that. I'm not ticking any boxes. I'm just a fan. Yeah, so I've read that. Where are we? I Miss the Legends. It wasn't just a programme. It was an institution. I wish you could take calls again, my friend Cal Macker. Might be something we'll do in the future, Cal. I'm getting told I'm finished, so I'll read a few more out and that's me finished. I miss playing football with you. It was good times. Darcy Appleby. Darcy, if you see all the gang, tell them I miss them as well. No, Bernard, he might be out for the playoffs, maybe. Yeah, Darcy, I used to coach over in Roseworth. I started it. Young kids, they grew up. I don't think a lot of them would play now. I think it'll be a new lot of kids in. But I loved every minute. I used to go every Thursday. Took me back to my childhood, and they were all great kids. Rough and ready, and good players, and loved a laugh, and yeah, good times. What do you not like West Brom? What I do not like about West Brom, we might play in the playoff, beat us, and might give them the edge. Now, I mentioned us, Leslie. We played against Bradford City, bogey team. They had a host of very good players, and they'd done us. Or we hadn't beaten them for 3 games. Then we played them in the playoff semi-finals before we played Chelsea and ended up getting promotion. Played them down there. I think it was 1 each. Trevor Senior scored. And then we came back to Ayresome Park. And as I mentioned earlier, Gary Hamilton was Toby Brushrear, Matt John Henry, Matt Tendy at the game. We scored 2. Trevor Senior scored. I scored. And then we went to a 2-legged affair against Chelsea. So they'd done us before. They would have fancied it without a doubt. And we knew we'd work out because they were a very good team, but we'd done it. You can lend Rashford if you want, Bernie. Darcy, don't be sarcastic, Darcy. Rashford's flying, what was it, 24 for the season? By God, he's been great. Bernie, hi from America, mate. Hello to you, good looking honky, he says. Bernie, I'm from America, mate. Peter North here. Old adult film star, retired. Love the sport and great stream, lad. Peter North. Thank you very much for joining us for America. I'm waiting the invite, Peter. I'll be over in America. I like America. I was over in New York about 9 weeks ago. Seen Morrissey in Brooklyn. Morrissey. I know people think he's depressing. I think he's pretty good. Now we don't need Rashford. We've got Chuba Akpom. But cheers though. Haha. Sounds great. I'll be there. So listen, I've not read these out, so apologies again. I'm back Saturday on Facebook and YouTube Live right after the Borough game. Hopefully discussing a victory. Same here. You're always welcome at Redondo Beach. Borough fan. Brilliant. Getting a few invites. That'll be good, won't it? So thanks very much for joining us. I'll try and make it 7 every Monday now, because some people are moaning about 10 o'clock. I've got my work, and I get that totally. So 7 o'clock to suit you people that go to work on the Monday, well, the Tuesday rather. Thank you very much for watching us and listening to us. And come on the Borough. Good luck to Metal Carry. Good luck to Newcastle United. Some of the Geordies. I thought we'd get a few Geordies on tonight. I'm trying my best to get the North East clubs involved. I'm the only one up here to tell the truth. Come on, Geordies, Sunderland fans. Saying that, Macca's a Sunderland fan and a Hibernian fan, but he's a Sunderland fan, so Macca's roped in, so hopefully he'll rope a few more in and get a bit of banter going. Thank you very much, Borough fan. Cheers. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Cheers. If I can get it off.